What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about earnings season, HyperCharts, and how to do due diligence on your favorite companies. 3 times a year. It's my favorite time of year because it's earnings season, and that is what is about to happen. It's where every single publicly traded company releases their quarterly financials, essentially takes us under the hood and lets us look at the key performance indicators of their business. So every 3 months, you may have noticed Tesla just announced that on July 24th, they will be announcing their Q2 2019 financial results. So what does this mean? This means they're going to report their cash flow, their balance sheet, their income statement for the months of April, May, and June, and report it publicly so investors can see and analyze the company's progress. So to do this, Tesla will file something called a Form 10-Q with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. This is a very long, complicated, perhaps intimidating document. On the flip side, has a ton of incredibly relevant and fascinating financial information. I mean, if you're doing homework on a company like Tesla that I'm invested in, I want to be the most up to date on the company's financials, their progress, how their cash position is doing, whether their financials looking healthy or not. All of that stuff is contained in this report. And so to sort of solve this problem and making it much easier to access these SEC filings, much easier to understand all of this data that's being thrown at you, HyperChange has teamed up with someone called Moe Salih, shout out, who's an amazing developer, and we've spun out something called HyperCharts. So HyperCharts is a financial data visualization platform that essentially the goal is to take these super complex SEC filings, what I call the first principles of finance, those hard numbers where you should start your analysis, and we want to turn them into super easy to access, easy to use, easy to understand, visualized charts that are interactable, basically just fun. And this is a financial product I could not find anywhere on the internet. I've always wished would exist. And so I feel really, really lucky to have teamed up with an amazing developer, Mo, and have actually created it and brought it to market for you guys. And so today I really wanted to walk through why I'm so excited about HyperCharts, really how to use it from a high level. And I know I've made videos before, but we also have a ton of other new features that we've been working on, that we've integrated. And so I want to kind of give a high overview and then go into the new stuff we're working on because there's a ton of excitement here. So without further ado, welcome to the HyperCharts world. This is the HyperCharts homepage. We've actually redesigned it. I'm logged into my account. I am a premium subscriber, so you're not going to get all the features, but this is just to show you how I use it and why I think it's so powerful. So to start out, here's the watch list. The companies that are starred are my favorite companies. It's super easy to add companies. They're also the same ones here at this top bar. And they also, it shows you kind of like the stock prices that with the daily change, much like Apple's Stocks app does. So it makes it really easy to check your companies, how they're doing. This is probably like the first thing I do in the morning when the market's open is I go to HyperCharts, I go to the homepage, I can see how all my favorited stocks are doing. It also shows you the market cap here. Then we have the recently added, so you can see which new companies we recently added to HyperCharts. It has the upcoming earnings, which, as I said, earnings season is around the corner, so you're going to want to make sure you have all these dates in your calendar. And if you're a premium subscriber, you can actually sync our earnings calendar with your calendar so you get notified with this. We've also added a news section. We're still refining a little bit of this, but this is news, which is actually slightly curated based on the companies you follow. And so you can also get news here on the homepage as well. But what the real amazing thing about HyperCharts is, my favorite part, is the financial data. And this is what is so complicated, but so important is, how is my company doing? Is revenue growing? Are profits growing? How much cash do they have? How much are they diluting their share count? This is free data that's all publicly available, but so hard to access. So we made it super easy to access and super interactable. And so this is Amazon. As you can see, Amazon.com. I'm on the financials tab. I'm in quarterly view. You can easily change it to annual, but let's do quarterly. So the first way, and these are ways that actually Amazon is breaking down its revenue. This isn't HyperCharts. This is official data from Amazon. As you can see, it's broken down their business into AWS, international sales, North America. If we want to just zoom in on something really easy, AWS, you can hover and see the actual numbers. I mean, it just makes it so easy and fun. AWS is Amazon's server business that powers things like Netflix and Snapchat. It's sort of the backbone of the internet. As you can see, it's growing like crazy. Here we can go to another way. Amazon recently started breaking out its revenue. You might have remembered they acquired Whole Foods. They've been building Amazon Go, certain of these physical stores. So you can actually zoom in on that physical store revenue, see how that part of the business of Amazon is doing. As you can see, not growing that crazy since they bought Whole Foods, which is pretty interesting. There's other part, the third-party seller reseller business of Amazon we can zoom into, or we can just look at their OG online store business, their bread and butter, or you can go to their other revenue component, which is where they're hiding advertising revenue. So I mean, there's so many different, I'm running through this really quickly, but there's so many different fascinating layers of insight from this one chart. To me, it's unbelievable how much you can improve your understanding of a company just by looking at some of these financial charts. And then this is the chart that is standard for every company. I think this is the most important chart to look at when you're analyzing a company's financials: revenue and operating income. How are sales doing? How much money did they bring in? Is it more than last quarter? Is it more than the same quarter in the same year before period? I mean, this is sales of a company, super important. And then we can layer in operating income, which is essentially profit. As you can see, Amazon's profit as a portion of its revenue is very small. Its margins are slim. But if we zoom into operating income, we can actually see the trajectory of Amazon's profits and see that Amazon, once a company that was very much not making much profit, around $1 billion per year, not really growing, ever since Q4 2017, when it was actually the same time they first fully acquired Whole Foods, their profits have been exploding. And so already we're getting really interesting insight into Amazon's financials from just these couple charts. Then we have net income, we have margins, gross margin here, and then operating margin and net margin. This is the breakdown of their operating expenses. This is their operating expenses by a percentage of revenue. Here is the growth. So you can see the revenue growth overlaid with operating expenses growth to see if their expenses growing faster than their revenue, really simply to see in a chart. Here's the cash flow. Then we have cash and short-term investments. How much cash does Amazon have on the balance sheet? One of my favorite analogies for HyperCharts is a Pokédex for financial information. I mean, you see a company in the wild, Amazon. I want to just see their financials in 2 seconds. I can go on my smartphone, go to hypercharts.co/ticker AMZN, and then bam, I'm looking at Amazon's financial data, and it's so simple. And instead of pouring through hundreds of pages of SEC filings, going back every single quarter, pulling all that data, it's just right here in front of you. And I think it's amazing. And these are also more premium features, but you can see the revenue multiple, and we're getting into valuation here. Also, I quickly want to note, if you're doing the premium service, you can change it to table view, which is super helpful when I actually create my own tables from this for Hyperchange videos sometimes. I can also click download chart data, and in 2 seconds, I've downloaded an Excel file with all of the raw data. And then there's also more things you can do. You can download an image of the actual chart. Then there also is the embed button, which allows you to embed this chart in your own website if you actually want to embed the core code there. So a ton of cool stuff. We're trying to make this a platform for everybody to really get advantage of it and use it. The other tab we have here is stock price. And so I think this is super helpful. And we've actually been using, it says here in the bottom, the IEX cloud. IEX is a new exchange based in New York City. You may have heard of him from the book Flash Boys, written by Michael Lewis. It was started by an RBC trader who wanted to make a fairer financial markets, not have market makers front running trades, essentially going against that whole flash trading, hedge fund, high frequency trading momentum that was basically screwing retail shareholders. And so they're a new type of exchange that's launched an API for what I think is some of the most fairest, up to the second, accurate market data in the world. And so that's why we've chosen to use IEX Cloud as our provider for the API. And so here you can see the stock price of Amazon. I have premium, so I can go all the way back. We can see Amazon's stock price and percent change here over the past 5 years. And let's say I go to Tesla, it'll already know that I'm looking at the 5-year chart. It'll already know that I'm at the stock price. I can just change the company. Snapchat, Spotify, they're newer IPOs, they haven't been around that long. But anyway, you get the point. And the other really cool thing we've added as well is the overview tab. And so there's 3 buttons here. So you can go to the Lyft website, the Lyft Investor Relations website, the Lyft's SEC filings. Like I said, SEC filings is where we're pulling all of this data. So if you want to actually go to the raw SEC filings page and look at the data yourself, we're linking it there, making it super easy for you. It also has tailored news for Lyft here in the feed. So this is just another way we're adding more information on every single company that we have. And then what I also really wanted to highlight is the premium mode. So HyperCharts Premium is something that we've been launching, essentially a way to make our platform far more powerful for you. So like I said, you can download data, you can change it to table view, you can embed the charts. That's awesome. But another amazing thing about Premium mode is the compare feature. So you can compare any metric from any company on HyperCharts. And so I can do Tesla versus Amazon. I can do Tesla, add in Facebook. This is revenue here. So as you can see, Tesla way smaller than Facebook or Amazon, but there's a ton of really interesting stuff you can do with this compare feature, like market cap pull. We can do the revenue multiple of, Tesla versus Alphabet versus Disney. And you can get a ton of really interesting insight onto how the valuation is changing from this compare mode. For fun, we could also do something like Tesla with Uber, and we could add in Lyft here. and then we can see the growth rate. I mean, and how fast these different businesses are growing. So there's so many different ways to see. As you can see, Tesla's growth rate super lumpy. Lyft and Uber just IPO'd, so we don't have that much data, but Lyft is growing way faster than Uber, which I think is really funny. So as you can see, Uber, that blue there, Lyft growing way faster. So that's the compare mode, one of the most exciting features of Premium. But the newest thing we've added just in time for this earnings season, which I think you guys are gonna be super excited about, and shout out to all of the HyperCharts users who suggested this and helped us develop this feature. And that's the other thing about HyperCharts Premium is this is still such an early product. We want as much feedback as possible. So by signing up for Premium, you get first access to request companies that you wanna see added. We're constantly adding companies to HyperCharts. We're more than 40 companies. We launched with just 5 companies at the beginning of the year, so we're almost up 10x, and almost all of those companies have been guided by what you wanted to see. And so it's been super helpful, and so thank you for telling us what you want to see, what features to add. One of the most requested features to add for earnings season was emailing you earnings, and I think this is such a flippening of the paradigm of how earnings work. Every single time there's earnings, I'm scrambling to see, okay, where did that earnings get released? Where did that happen? Where can I find the press release? And so we have made that, instead of you going out on the internet to find earnings and to scrape through SEC filings to look at the numbers, we want to send them to you. And I think this is such a powerful concept that makes it so much easier. And so for Premium users, we've added this feature that essentially lets you get emailed right to your inbox the latest quarterly updates for the companies that you follow. So as you can see here, Twitter Q1 2019 results from HyperCharts. I go right into my email inbox. This is a test email that Mo sent, so yours will be updated with the real quarter's information. But as you can see, this is as if Twitter had just reported their Q1 numbers. I'm seeing their monetizable daily active users, the monthly active users, the revenue by geography, all updated with the newest quarter. This comes to you. I mean, this is so easy. I'm personally stoked to be using this earnings season, and it comes right to you. And if you want, you can just click hypercharts.co/Twitter or the page, and it'll take you right to that company's profile on HyperCharts, and you can do a little bit more due diligence if you want. And so there's a couple other features I wanted to run through. If you go to your profile page, this is my profile on HyperCharts, you can actually do really cool stuff like roadmap. If I'm logged in, I can click on the HyperCharts roadmap and I can upvote different and request different features that we're working on building. Like I said, we really want your feedback. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to show you guys that we added for Premium subscribers, a ton of people requested this, was the API. And this is something we're gonna expand significantly going forward. This is the API for HyperCharts, hypercharts.co/API. If you're a Premium user, that for $10 a month, this is something that you get access to as well. And so we're just trying to give you guys everything you want, really make this a tool to help people understand financial data, because I think it's so misunderstood. It's so complicated. Every single time earnings come out, there's all this flood of information. Analysts said this, the growth wasn't good. CNBC said that, CNN said that. I always cut right through all of that noise and just go right to the data and actually look at the numbers the company reported, the first principles, and see what I think, how did they do? Did they grow? Were they profitable? And I just think it helps me cut through so much noise to actually just look at the data. And I think HyperCharts is the tool that cuts through all of it for you. I use it constantly. I love the product. And so I kind of wanted to show you guys with that episode. And we're constantly adding to the Premium service. You get a 14-day free trial if you sign up. So no strings attached. We want to make sure if you don't like it, you can cancel. You don't have to pay. Try it out. So when all your companies are getting ready to report in the coming weeks, make sure you're on HyperCharts. You can follow us on Twitter. We're going to be tweeting out different company earnings. If you sign up for Premium, you can get those earnings emailed to you. But either way, I would definitely encourage you all to start playing around with HyperCharts. Also, we got featured on Product Hunt. A HyperCharts fan just basically posted us to Product Hunt. We got a bunch of upvotes there. That was awesome. So thank you so much. And shout out for that to all the people who upvoted us on Product Hunt. Once again, huge shout out to Mo, who's been building this and has done incredible work. And we are working really hard behind the scenes to make this product better and better every single day. By supporting on Premium, you're helping this mission of HyperCharts, helping to democratize financial markets, give everybody a tool to really simply understand financials, basically empower you to become a smarter investor by giving you a tool to help educate yourself, turning these super complex documents, thousands of pages, into really simple charts. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think a picture, looking at one chart on HyperCharts for 1 minute could save you 1,000 minutes of DD, or there's some sort of comparison there too. And I just think that's what we're making this tool for, to make it more efficient for you to do investment research. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please let me know all of your feedback. Huge Huge shout out to everyone who's been using HyperCharts. We've got thousands of people hitting it every month, tens of thousands of page views, the early people signing up for premium. You guys are all awesome. Anyway, I hope you have a good earnings season. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.